Hey, this is Nate Williams with Dangerous Faith, and I'm here to talk with you about memes. Now, you might be thinking, memes? Why would you talk about that? Well, pictures and art, they can be very powerful. They can convey a lot in just a short amount of time, a small space. And so, if we see a certain idea or something in a meme or a drawing or a picture or something like that that's going around and it's getting a lot of, let's say it's gone viral, as it could be phrased, and just very popular. Well, if it contains a dangerous or bad idea, we want to address it. And I think that's one of the purposes of these kind of videos. I've made one before, and I hope to make more like this. And so the picture, the meme I'm going to show you, and I'll have it up on video. I'll have it up and, so you can see yourself. It's Jesus. He's next to two sheep. One sheep looks relatively normal, as you imagine a sheep to be, white and fluffy. And the other sheep is a rainbow sheep. And this rainbow sheep looks, I have to look a little closer, I think, just not maybe having the best time. And the white sheep says, but the verses. And then Jesus is petting both sheep and says, love over verses. And the message, this is a very left progressive Christian way of thinking, is forget the Bible verses that might be against the pride movement, the LGBT community, the group. Love is love. Let them do their thing. Celebrate and affirm. And a lot of evangelical Christians, more conservative Christians, will say, "Well, what about the Bible? What about these verses?" Jesus tells you, "Don't worry about the verses. You need to love everyone." But there's just a small problem with that. And the problem the left runs into, progressive Christians run into, is, how do you define love? What does it mean to love? Well, it turns out the Bible defines that as well. So if you throw out the verses that are against certain lifestyles and the pride way of living, well, what about when the Bible defines love? Who's our authority? Who gets to define love? Because that matters. If I punch you in the face and I say, well, I love you, and then someone says, oh, well, that's not very loving, who's right? We both can use the same word, but whose authority gets to define what love is? Another example of the leftist kind of thinking is, I'll put it up on the screen as well. When the Bible comes between me and loving my neighbor, I will choose my neighbor. Now, again, this false dichotomy. It's like either Bible or love. But this person is saying, when the Bible comes between me and loving my neighbor, I will choose my neighbor. Again, it's the same problem. Who defines what love is? Love is not accepting everything someone wants to do. If your child sticks his or her hand into the fire, the loving thing to do is not, oh, wonderful, keep doing that. That's great. That's not very loving. The loving thing to do is very dramatically and urgently get their hand out of the fire. Like, no, you don't do that. Why? The loving thing cares not about what the other person feels, even though that you want to factor that in, not just how another person feels, but what's actually best for them, regardless of what they think. Again, parents run into this all the time. And that's your problem with this kind of feel-good, progressive Christian way of looking at things. Someone has to define love. If it's not the Bible, what's it going to be? The way we feel? Culture? It'll change from time to time. What culture thinks is loving one day, they'll think is backwards and bigoted the next. That's why it's important to have the Bible as our authority, because the Bible It doesn't change. In 1,000 years, the books will be the same, and the letters of Paul will be the same, and the Gospels will be the same. The way Jesus, the example he set for us while on earth, will be the same. So that's the problem. This progressive Christian way of thinking, love over verses. Well, it's from the verses that we learn what love is. Because ultimately, this gets into a little bit of deeper philosophy and theology. Love is God. God is love. So we want to learn more about his character. We want to learn more about his law and his rulership because it's from who he is, his being and his identity that is love. And so if we want to know what love is, we got to learn about God. Well, my question to progressive Christians, where do we learn about God and who God is, if not from the Bible and verses? Anyways, just I'm open to input. What do you think? What do I get wrong? I'd love to dialogue with you. You can leave a comment in below the video. You can follow us on social media. We have Dangerous Faiths on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and I'd love to hear what you think. If I get something wrong, let me know and let's talk about it. This is Nate Williams of Dangerous Faith. Until next time.